right. Let's see. Welcome, welcome. For those of you that, oh wait, they're not in yet. Let's double check this. Cancel. There it is. Enter live studio. Zoom. Hello, hello. Thanks for joining. I think we have Jad and Luxor. Just want to say thanks for joining us on this rainy day. I hear that there's like flash flooding alerts going on. So just want to say thanks and glad you're jumping on, hopefully from the comfort of your home.
How are we doing?
Good, good, good. I'm going to set this up real quick if you want to help me out.
Yeah, I'll watch you.
Hey,
How are we doing today, babe?
How's your investment projects going?
We're very excited. We're about to get a cabin completed in about 2 weeks, and we should get it furnished and get it onto Airbnb, short-term rental.
How long have you been working on it?
I haven't been much work on it, but
About this project?
Our partner Esteban has really taken that project into his hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what makes you say that?
Oh yeah, because he's dealing with materials and dealing with subcontractors. So yeah, it's working out pretty well. Lucky me.
Cool. Awesome. Well, let's get started. We're going to basically go over a really interesting a kind of topic that we haven't really dipped our toes in way too much yet. But it's just kind of like a super smart way to, I think, save and grow and invest with saving with taxes.
And building wealth.
Yeah, building wealth. So for those of you that have joined us today, just put in the chat if you have any, or if you're actively syndicating deals right now, or if you have any experience on any deals that you've done in the past. I'd love to hear your input. I want to make this as interactive as possible because this is supposed to be a networking event. So I want to hear everything that you guys have to share. Be sure to move along and share with our entire audience. So let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We're going to go over to, let's see. Nope, not that. And here we are. So here we are. We're going to be talking about syndication and self-directed IRAs. Fabian, you want to give us an introduction?
Yes, who we are. We are real estate investors / real estate agents. Karen runs a real estate team with a partner, Arturo. Yep. And I am focused on the investment side. Previously flipping houses, now just flipping houses for short-term rental. And obviously we run this group so we could, get to network with people, see how we could help each other, bounce ideas off. and just share knowledge and experiences, failures and success. So, yeah.
Awesome. So Fabian, you're like, when it comes to the roles in this investment dream team that we have, you mainly cover what the project management.
And always analyzing and trying to find deals, get them under contract, closing.
Yeah, I feel like your sweet spot is finding deals and getting them under contract.
Where are the deals?
I feel like you're always randomly getting properties under contract, right?
Yeah, but it would be nice if it was, a couple of months.
Yeah, maybe if you just focused on it a little bit more, but okay. Yeah, so I'm the one that mainly services the clients, mainly works with clients to help them buy, invest in real estate. So it's very hands-on when it comes to servicing of the clients, but everything that we do and every conversation we have is focused around the wealth building conversation. So it doesn't matter if you're a first-time home buyer with us. It doesn't matter if you're looking to, sell a property in order to get into the next one. I always have your future plans in mind, right? Want to make sure that you're still going to give us a call after a couple years. We've done almost like, I think we've done everything except multifam.
Hold on a second. We don't do notes. We don't purchase notes.
Oh yeah, there's so
much into real estate. We kind of done a little bit of everything. But yeah, so.
Okay, so we've been able to get into properties through rent to own before.
Yep, rent to own, seller financing. We've house hacked our first home. We flip houses, we wholesale houses, and now we're like jumping into short-term rentals as of this past year. And yeah, it's looking pretty good.
Cool. All right, let's see. For those of you that are joining us on Facebook, Zoom, Instagram, do me a favor and post a comment below where you're joining us from. I would love to know the location. What your niche is. Like, tell us, are you mainly a wholesaler? Are you a flipper? Are you really in it just to do long-term, like buying holds? I just want to hear a little bit more. And then the last thing I want you to put in comment below is what you're looking for. Are you looking for a deal right now? What's your purchasing criteria? Is there like a specific person on your dream team that you're looking for, like a contractor, a lender, anything like that? Just let us know so we can make sure that we're connecting you with that.
Important legal stuff. So just make sure you do your due diligence when it comes to any real estate deals or anything like that. We're not your licensed attorney or licensed CPA. So everything we speak about is strictly just from our experiences.
Our mistakes and our failures. Yep. All right, so let's get into the details. So what is real estate syndication? So basically, it's a partnership between multiple investors, and multiple investors are getting into a deal, and each one is bringing their own skills or value to the deal. For example, someone could be the deal finder. Someone could be the person that just finds the money. Someone could be the person that's the property manager or the renovator. There's like so many different roles. And sometimes you're actually filling a lot of these roles. So that's pretty much what syndication is. It's a group of investors joining forces. Everyone has a different value that they're bringing to the table, but they're pretty much working together in order to make that deal happen. So, and your skills, your abilities, your wherewithal, the amount of available capital that you have is also going to define your role in each syndication. So what is a self-directed IRA?
I wanted to ask you, at this time, it looks like there's a lot of syndication, not only for multifamily, but also for short-term rental. Yeah, so that's pretty neat. And also even long-term vacation homes too, which, there's a company out there that buys in these very, very expensive areas. So you could actually, that is syndication, but we won't get into that.
Well, you can syndicate a deal for a flip, for a multifamily, for a short-term rental business, right? Most of the time when we think of syndication, we're thinking about
big,
like a multifamily, like 100 unit complex, 1,000 unit complex. But the reality is that you can syndicate for any investment. It actually doesn't even have to be real estate.
Yeah.
So, oh, hello. Looks like we've got some guests in the house.
Nice. Look,
awesome.
we have 2 chairs for you over on this side.
Thanks for joining us. So I might get you to join me live on IG. Are you up for that? That way we have some conversation going on that end.
Okay, well, no pressure.
Putting our only guests on the spot today.
Hey, girl, it's your first day here. All right,
awesome.
Self-Directed IRA.
Yeah, go for it.
So it allows you to hold alternative investments in your retirement account. So you don't just have to own your ETFs or stocks and all that stuff. You can also own real estate through your retirement account.
Awesome. So guys, we're talking about syndication. Oh yeah. Awesome. All right. So you can combine obviously the two concepts. For example, let's just say Mark finds a deal for $1 million. We're going to call him the sponsor. As the manager and operator of the deal, Mark, which is the sponsor, let's just say he puts in 5%. So that's like 50K, right? And what his job is basically to raise the remaining 95% of that down payment. He's basically responsible for the day-to-day operations of that deal. So basically, let's talk about a syndication structure where it's a straight split. Okay, so what that means, for example, is if you're going into a deal and you're doing like a 50-50 split, or maybe you're doing an 80-20 split, right? In this example, 80% of all the returns as in cash flow and profits from the sale, go to the limited partners. These are the people who have invested and they're kind of taking a passive seat. They're like, I've got money to invest. I want to get into a deal, but I don't want to be actively managing this project. They're going to get 80% of that because they're funding that deal. 20% will then go to Mark as a general partner, the sponsor, the one who syndicated the deal and put the deal together.
Nice. And you mentioned earlier 50-50.
As an example.
You could do just about anything.
That's an actual syndication.
If the market is there.
So we did a syndication deal, I mean, in a way, on the log cabin. We said, we've got a deal, we'll manage it, we'll property manage it, we'll manage the renovations.
That's correct. Let's not go into those percentages.
But that's an example. So we basically partnered up with a very awesome investor who actually funds a lot of our stuff, but he's absolutely passive. He's like, we know you guys can renovate, take over. We don't want anything to do with it. He's happy, we're happy. So that's a straight split, very simple. Let's see. So we have Arnold, you're supposed to be setting appointments. Andrea, Kelly, thanks for joining. Dave. Yeah, he's been scheduling appointments. I'm just being hard on him. All right, so there's a whole other structure that's called the Waterfall Structure. And this works a little bit differently. It's kind of a layered approach to syndication, okay? And most of the time, this is what the passive investors prefer, okay? So for example, If a syndication includes a 8% preferred return, that's typically what we call a waterfall return. It means that the first 8% of the returns will go directly to you and the other limited partner investors. So what that means is that Mark is only going to get a piece of the returns. Can't even talk. Mark is only going to get the returns after the 8%. So basically, the people who invested as passive investors, they get first dibs on returns.
Yep.
So what does that mean? That basically incentivizes Mark to make sure that they're getting returns higher than 8%. You want to do the next one?
No, you're
Go
doing
for it.
great. I'm
Go for
here to
it.
support it.
Come on.
All right. So let's say you invest 100,000 into real estate syndication with an 8% preferred return. So in the first year, your returns are 8%. That means the investor gets the full 8% preferred return, which is $8,000 of the original 100,000. Mark, as the general partner, GP, does not get any piece of that. Exactly what you just said. I'm glad I could help you.
Yeah. So, and another question that comes up a lot is when, let's just say, for example, you were to submit 100K, and when they're pitching the deal to you, they're basically saying we're hoping to get 8% to 10% returns the first year. When it's a syndicated deal and you're an equity partner, for example, it is not guaranteed that you're going to actually get that 8% because the deal actually has to start making money. Does that make sense? Right? So in other words, if it doesn't make a profit, you're actually not getting that 8%. Yet if your managing partner, the GP, the general partner is doing an awesome job, hopefully they're making more than 8%. So that's the waterfall approach. Basically, you can have it to where, okay, after the first 8%, the next 14% is going to be a different split. For example, 70-30. So what this means, I know it's super confusing, but the first 8% is going to go straight to the passive investors. And then the next, let's just say
6%.
6%. Oops. My sister is FaceTiming me right now. Should have turned that off.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go back to the screen.
Sorry for the technical difficulties.
Okay, so the first 8% basically is going to go to the passive investors, right?
Limited partners. Yep.
Limited partners.
Yep.
The second 6% is going to be split 70-30. So now Mark, the person that pretty much is managing the active general partner, now has 30% into that extra 6% layered. So I know it gets super complicated. You can structure a syndicated deal however you want. That's the really cool part. The person that's putting the deal together kind of gets to pitch it to the rest of the investors. All right, guys, come up with some questions.
Yes, Kelly. First question.
Where do you find your partners?
Ooh, nice. Well, you can start by attending Grid Meetup.
Networking. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Networking and putting yourself out there. Actually, if you go to a boot camp, multifamily boot camp, which there's quite a few now, or like you'll really get to meet the real players, and all you just gotta do is go bug them, get their number.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I think that we learned, right?
Yeah. And actually, sorry, go.
We've been to so many networking events. We've been to so many what are these seminars, like all that stuff. We used to go like no other. And you're always like just there to try and find education, find a deal. But when you go to multifamily, everything is basically like pitch that, hey, this is a team works. This is a sport. Like you need a team. You can't just get into multifamily alone unless you're just like, I don't know, sitting on a bunch of, I mean, millions of dollars, right?
Yeah.
But basically everyone, I think it's very difficult to be in a multifamily deal, be the GP, manage the property manager, bring the funds yourself. Like
It depends on the scale, you know. If you're trying to scale multifamily, you know, I don't know, let's say 16 units plus, and you're trying to make it like you want to buy a few this year, then yeah, it's a team sport. So
Yeah. So it's kind of we've been talking about it. We've talked about it recently lately, how you can take a syndication structure. There's many people, what we were mentioning at the top, that are syndicate. Oh, just an example. You guys know what hard money lenders are? Those are syndicators. They're basically not doing multifamily, they're lending out other people's money, right? So it's the same thing. And Fabian, maybe you can touch a little bit on how people are syndicating short-term rentals.
yeah, if you're ready to invest 250,000 into the short-term rental space, you could message me so I could get you connected. But he is raising capital to invest and purchase over $10 million worth of assets in within 3 hours of the DMV area. And looking at returns, currently what they have in their portfolio, their returns are close to 20% for the limited partner.
So basically, if someone invests in this or his fund or his LLC, they're putting in 250K,
Yeah,
and they could at least expect 20% back.
not guaranteed,
But that's what,
Month over month or year over year?
a year.
but are they getting
Once it starts
monthly?
profiting.
Are they getting monthly
Yes.
payouts?
Once it's, yeah, actually, I don't know. I don't,
Says that
I'm
every
not,
deal
Where
is
do I get
different.
my money when I give you
Yeah.
250,000?
I
It's a
don't,
good question.
I am not the GP in all of this, so you have to talk to them. But you'll get maybe quarterly, I'm sure it's quarterly page. Actually, I'm pretty sure it's quarterly
Yeah.
paycheck on that money. And then they are looking at like a 10-year out, you know, to get your cash back if you want. Okay?
Yeah. So he's basically pulling funds together to acquire short-term
Short-term
rentals.
Does he have the short-term rentals already that he wants?
No,
so
that's
he's
why
looking for that.
we are going to help him
Does he
find.
want to build on lots?
No,
No, okay.
turnkey, flip,
Guys.
hillside, come up with the price, I'll sell it.
No.
No,
Syndication.
and that's the thing though, your purchasing criteria might change because now you have the funds to fund. Like he's gonna be purchasing turnkey instead of something that needs to be remodeled, right? So
Yep.
pretty cool.
So he'll pay a different price.
Yeah, he'll pay a different price. And then you always wonder, like, I don't know if you've seen some of the Facebook groups for Airbnbs, but people are buying up properties at like crazy prices
Oh my God, it's crazy.
for short-term rentals.
Yeah.
And we're just like, oh my God, it's another out-of-state buyer that's like
Trying to hit our,
overbidding, which is crazy. Yeah. So let's see, moving back into this. So typically it's structured as a LLC or a limited partnership. The sponsor, the person kind of wrapping this deal together, is typically the GP, the general partner, general manager, and then everyone else will participate most of the time as limited partners or passive members. The operating agreement basically has all the ways that everything is going to work, how distributions are made, who gets to decide on major decisions. Most of the time, if you're the GP and you're pulling a deal together, the last thing that you want to do is give 20 other investors that are passive decision-making rights. What company what bank to refinance with, what property manager to select. Sometimes it's just too many opinions. So it's always best to have that kind of limited. You want to jump in?
Sure. So the LLC or limited partnership structure is very similar to the setups of other private funds in the venture capital, private equity, and venture debt space. Such legal entities are there to protect both sponsor and the members' investors. This is if the deal goes south. wow, this looks like a beautiful graph that we could email you if you share your email. But this is kind of like a structure of how different LLC set up and then limited partnership.
Accredited investors. This is kind of taking syndication to another level. There's actually like, what is it, hedge fund companies, or sometimes I remember when we went to the Grid conference, there was a guy that was like basically just pulling funds together to flip, right? And he said he was only allowed to take funds from accredited investors. So what that means is you have to have an income of at least 200K each year for the last 2 years, or if you're married, you have to have a combined income of 300K for the last 2 years. And then you have to have a net worth of at least $1 million, excluding your primary residence. So you can't use your own home as an asset, either individually or jointly with your spouse. So basically, it's kind of like raising your standards on who can invest in a deal, but this gets very technical depending on how much funds, I guess, you're borrowing to get into a property, and from how many investors you're pulling money from. And if you qualify based on income, part of the qualification is the expectation that you'll continue to make income that following year. Syndications will typically ask you to provide a letter from your accountant actually stating that your net worth is that much and that you can qualify. So they'll actually like vet you out and validate you. Self-directed IRAs. So this is like the fun stuff that we actually haven't been able to take action on this year. Let's see, have you guys set up a self-directed IRA yet?
I don't know. We set one up. I don't know if it's self-directed. We have an IRA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Self-directed or not.
Yeah, we can wholesale off of those things.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, we have to set that up.
Yeah, we could do like the one we just did in Fort Washington. We could have done that like 50-50 with our IRA and yours, and then we wouldn't have to pay taxes on it. Isn't that interesting?
But you can't use the money.
Can't use the money. Can't touch it till you retire.
Oh, well.
yeah.
What's the point of that, right? I'm just kidding.
Save taxes. Look, Yelly's like, no.
What's the point of that?
It's a retirement plan, right?
Exactly.
Look,
Save all your money.
If you just do one deal a year in that account, it can add up. So,
All right.
This basically a retirement account that you completely manage yourself. There's no broker involved. What's typically involved when it comes to
Well, you do need a
An
sub-custodian.
a sub-custodian,
Is
not a
involved.
broker?
Yeah. Oh, you're right. Okay, great. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go
So
ahead.
basically, the really cool thing is you could have, let's just talk about wholesaling, for example. You could have $1,000 in your self-directed IRA. And if you go and get a property under contract and put an earnest money deposit of $1,000, and you charge an assignment fee of $10,000 to wholesale this to an end investor that's going to end up flipping it. When you close, that $10,000 goes straight back into that IRA account, but you have to pay no taxes on that $10,000. So you just turn $1,000 into $10,000. So now if you did that like 2 or 3 times, you can now fund a large down payment of a property you can flip. Does that make sense?
And you can start flipping.
And then you could flip a property in your IRA and you don't pay any taxes on it.
That's funny.
Not until you retire. Can't touch it until you retire.
can Flip
You-
a property inside the IRA is the business entity
Yeah,
doing the flip.
doing the flip.
Absolutely.
So instead of it coming from X business, it's coming from IRA business.
Yeah. And you can partner up with
Multiple IRAs.
an IRA, and you can say, okay, if they're bringing in 25% of the deal, you could not pay taxes on 25% of the deal, but you're not gonna touch it until you retire, right? So it's pretty,
Yeah, let's say you did a flip and your net profit was like 300K. You're like, oh my God, this is too much money for me. I don't know what to do with this. So, well, you knew this going in. So you partnered up with your IRA so they can have some of that. Because you don't want to have, 300K of
It just-
taxes at the end of the year.
it isn't a problem until you like make a lot of money. And then you're like, how could I
Well,
saved on all of, like
It
you
might-
have a lot of taxes.
yeah, it's not a problem the first time. Because the first time you want to get all of it and then you get hit with the tax bill. So it becomes a problem the second time, I guess. Like then you're like, oh crap, I should do this.
Yeah, so we had I think 2 years ago, we sold 5 properties. And we were like, wow, this makes a lot of sense when we realized how much we had to pay in taxes. We're like, oh yeah, this makes so much sense. And we created our IRA accounts. And then we never flipped another property inside of it. So we just started investing in short-term rentals. But remember I told you about the Seesaw account? I know I told you guys about the Seesaw.
They're going to
account.
learn about it today.
Well, the Seesaw account is exactly the same as the IRA, right? So like literally we could get all your 3 kids plus our 2, and we could say everyone is a 20% owner in a wholesale deal, whatever, a flip or whatever. And whatever, like, let's just say it makes a 10K assignment fee, it goes back into that account. And that can be used for anything from K through college, extracurricular activities, school supplies, schooling, anything, school, soccer uniform, and it's not taxed.
You definitely told us about that.
Yes, I know I did. Good.
She's so passionate.
Oh.
I have some set up for the girls, but I haven't invested with it.
She's so
Yeah, you're
passionate,
like
though.
totally banking on some travel sports over there. So you.
Oh. You have no idea. My mom is voluntarily doing like 30 years of travel soccer. So, and I know how much it costs. So it's kind of crazy. But anyways, the basic concept that you need to follow is that obviously it can only be used for investment purposes. All expenses of the property must be paid for through the IRA. You cannot fund it. You like, if the whole deal is being purchased through the IRA account, the IRA has to be able to fund all of renovations, all of that. Or the loan that the IRA is getting has to fund it. Any income generated by the real estate held in your IRA must be paid to and returned to the IRA, not to you. You cannot use your self-directed IRA to buy property from yourself or a family member. Disqualified persons, parents, grandparents, your spouse, children. So this is who you cannot purchase property from.
Or lend, it seems like, for investments.
Yeah. Everyone else is a qualified person.
You qualify to me. So,
Because you purchased property for the disqualified people through the IRA.
interesting.
No,
Listen,
I don't think so. I thought that's what I just said.
I think it's like from.
Oh, okay.
um,
Yeah, no, it can't be any family. Like you can't do deals
Yeah.
like that.
Buy your mom's house in the IRA.
Yeah,
You can't buy
yeah,
a house
yeah.
for, like a retirement home for your family.
Exactly,
In the, okay.
exactly.
So-
tell them
Yeah.
to change their names, birth certificate,
Yeah.
etc.
So if you're ever also like trying to privately fund a deal for someone else, you can always do it under your IRA. Like this is kind of where you can start being, this is where you actually build wealth. I know it's like this is like a concept, like it doesn't make sense, but you can lend this money at an 8%, 6%, 10% to other investors that want to flip, that want to do deals. And it's just money that's starting to make money for you. So let's just say you make let's just say you make 8% on 100K, it's $8,000. Now you have 108 to lend. And then it just continues to compound.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome. I think this is like a amazing over our, like we haven't been purposeful about this.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Well, we haven't, but like also individuals that, have a large IRA account can switch it over to self-directed IRA and can now, invest in deals with other investors that are in the business flipping houses. So, and make maybe a better return.
Yeah.
Perhaps. So like,
The other like
don't go right now, stock market, killing it. So
the other thing is that with the self-directed IRA, you can only put $6,000 yourself. You can only contribute yourself $6,000 a year. So there's only so much that you can build it. You have to invest it.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting concept. But that's basically it, guys. That's the final thoughts. Any questions? Could you share the slides afterwards? Absolutely. Can you actually give me, Luxor, would you mind sending me your email? I'd love to send the slides over to you. How have we been structuring projects and deals with other investors? We are, thank you. Thank you for that email. Go ahead and make sure I put that down so I can send that over to you. So mainly everything that we've done this year, we have partnered up. We have partnered up with people to get into short-term rentals. Every partner and every deal is structured differently. I think that it all depends on how much value each person is bringing to the deal or to the table. Sometimes sometimes it's mainly someone that's funding the deal, wants to invest, but really doesn't want to do anything with renovations or design or property management. Sometimes they do. So every deal is going to be structured a little bit differently for us. Thank you, Timothy. I got your email. I'll be sure to send that over to you. So yeah, so that's basically how we did that. We kind of got to a point where why did we start partnering up with people?
Oh, because we stopped flipping houses and we needed to buy more houses.
I think that people would find properties with people.
Oh, that's also true.
And then they wanted to do it with you.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's also true. Whoever finds the deal first, that's another thing. But I mean, you run out of capital. I haven't won the lottery to buy everything that I want. So
maybe you should just start syndicating.
Or maybe I should play the lottery.
Just do both.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
So basically, I think that it's like wherever we are at that time in the year, where the opportunity comes, who it's coming from. But I think that we also can only go far by ourselves, right? So we wanted to be able to get into more deals and not have to say no to a deal. So instead of doing that, we actually just decided to start partnering up with people. And I think it's a little bit more fun. Sometimes it could be harder, but I think that for the most part, every partnership has been turned out, to be valuable in different ways. So awesome. Well, thank you everybody for joining. I grateful, glad everyone stayed safe during these flood warnings. Hit us up anytime you want to do a coffee. I love coffee. I love wine. Fabian. Beer. And
aren't you guys doing one of these in Spanish?
Oh my gosh, that's right. I'm sorry. Whoa. Tomorrow, if you're available, I'm doing grid in Spanish. We're actually yes, we're going to be talking about pretty much hard money. I feel that like a lot of our friends, families, sphere of influence, they want to really get into investing, want to take that first step, don't know much about what hard money is or how to use it. So yeah, I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna go grid in Espanol. I can't even talk. Thanks to Kelly who gave me the idea.
You have to listen to some of Esteban's it was YouTube videos of Colombian
No, he's
accents?
from Argentina.
I know,
I
but
like the accent.
From Colombia or from Argentina?
Colombia.
Oh, okay, okay.
Listen, you don't want to know.
Yeah, so if you know of anyone that's looking to, attend grid, a Spanish speaking grid, we're actually doing it at the same spot here in Alexandria off of Eisenhower tomorrow, 7 p.m. Friday, 7 p.m.
Awesome. Thank
Have a
you for
good night,
joining.
everybody. Thank you.